Welcome to the Collectania of Everything, where two guys alienate all of their listeners by talking about Dungeons & Dragons this episode.
Nice.
There we go.
That's like every single D&D character you do right there.
I don't use one voice for all my D&D
No,
characters.
But you do, that's your default voice.
It is my default voice. When I go with a character, I'm just deeper. Anyway, welcome guys. This episode we're going to be talking about D&D, Dungeons & Dragons, which is a role-playing game that both of us love.
Yeah.
It's a hobby of ours. We've been into it since school. I guess we'll get into how we started. We'll talk about that. But how have you been? How have you been before then?
Me? Before
we get into the wonderful world of Dungeons & Dragons.
Oh, right. I thought you mean like before then, like before.
How were you without Dungeons & Dragons, Hamish?
I was great. No, I'm joking. When did we start? No, okay. No, yes, I've been great.
Good.
I've been great.
I've been great too.
Yeah.
There we go. Finishes aside.
D&D.
D&D.
We can move on.
Yeah. Now we're going to do drink check.
Oh, yeah. I've got some kind of sparkling water from your fridge.
Yep. Got to stay healthy.
And you guys just have the one tea, so I've been having this every single time.
It's grown on you?
The Dilma. Yeah, I've liked it from the beginning, that's why.
There we go.
I haven't been bringing my own tea.
There we go. That's good. That's good. I'm drinking Ballantine's Finest Scotch whiskey.
It's quite a lot.
It's quite a lot.
You're quite a lot in your
Yeah,
glass.
it's going to be a good podcast tonight, guys. But it's really good.
I haven't tried it.
No, you're more of a rum guy, eh?
I've tried one rum, yeah,
You're
but I've liked it more than most whiskies I've tried. So yeah, I guess I have.
Did you have that whiskey I gave you ages ago?
Yeah.
Have you had much of it?
I have. I like adding that one to things, but
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I make my whiskies and rums last.
Yeah.
I think I've had one rum for it's probably been over a year.
Mm.
But I think it's probably been nearing 2 years.
Really?
For that one rum, yeah.
And you still got it?
Yeah.
Man.
I think it might be nearing there. It's almost.
What does this
it's
tell me
like
about
it's over
myself?
halfway.
Yeah, I've been through a bit, but I'm not like an alcoholic, guys.
I think since Milo was born, though, I think that's why for some reason, we store the drinks in his room. We've stored it in there before he was in there. It's like up somewhere, like high out of the way.
Yeah. You don't keep the bottles close to the baby.
No, we're good parents. But yeah, he's like, gotta say this. He's a very I think he's nearly. I think he's 8 months now.
Yeah.
I think he's a little over 8 months now. Yeah.
You got
So
dates wrong
he's like-
so much last episode.
Yeah,
so
I know.
That's not.
He's 8 years old. Yeah. So there's no worry of him trying
Yeah.
Just gonna get that out of the way.
We won't be.
We are actually responsible parents.
Yeah.
No, so I think that's the reason though, because whenever I'm like, I don't know, I normally have it later-ish at night.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to relax. That's when I would normally have it if I'm going to have anything.
Yeah.
Which isn't very often.
Yeah. And I'm the same. I mean, I probably only have a little bit
Yeah.
weekly, but special night tonight.
Yeah.
Kicking back with a whiskey, talking about some Dungeons and Dragons.
But anyway, what I was saying is that normally when I'm like lately, the past 8 months, whenever I'm like, if I have a bit of rum or a bit of whiskey or something, it's in his room and he's sleeping, so I can't go in there.
It's a deterrent. It's to stop you from.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah.
That's very good.
Okay, well, I think I've talked enough.
Yeah, we don't want to hear any more about your baby.
Let's get back to the topic on hand.
Yeah, so you probably came here expecting Hamish to talk about big cats, our next cryptozoology episode, but it's coming, we promise.
You could just release this episode after the Big Cats episode, which we'll be doing this weekend, hopefully.
Ah.
But you burn it now. Let's
would
do
have
it
been
anyway.
a
Let's
very
just release
good
it afterwards
idea.
anyway.
Do I edit this out?
No.
Okay. Yep. You might have already listened to the Big Cat episode. You might not have. element of surprise.
It might not be out yet. We don't know.
No, it might not be out. But it's on its way. It's as mysterious. It's as mysterious and elusive as the big cats themselves, some would say. So keep an eye out.
I am so sorry.
No, it's the hypes. I'm ready. But yeah, we just thought we'd talk about Dungeons and Dragons. You've heard us mention it probably a few times on the podcast already. And yeah, it's a hobby of ours that we really enjoy.
Yeah.
And I guess what do we need to explain?
Well, when did we start? I think
Do we explain what it is first? I said it was a role-playing game.
tabletop RPG, tabletop role-playing game.
Yeah. And it's pretty much like you get together with a group of friends and you can either, I guess they release stories and adventures for you to play. It's a fantasy role-playing game. They release stories and adventures, or you can make up the adventure yourself, make up the world yourself.
Yeah.
And there's the players, and each player creates a character in this world. And then there's the dungeon master, or someone who's, I guess, running the game, creating the world,
Yeah.
overseeing everything, making sure it has some semblance of rules. It's not just
Yeah.
chaos.
Well, so essentially, it's like an RPG video game, like I don't know, like Skyrim.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Your Skyrim or your Zelda or your...
Yeah. So Skyrim's probably a better example where you pick a character, you pick a race and stuff like that. You change them, you personalize them, say whatever make them look however you want them to look or whatever. And then you pick a class and stuff like that. And then I guess the thing with Dungeons and Dragons is that you have someone called the Dungeon Master or Games Master is general role-playing term. And they are the person who they don't play a character, and they just essentially they generate a world and a story within the rules of the D&D like books and stuff.
Yeah.
So like there's a whole bunch of rules of like if a person wants to do something like, I don't know, jump over something. They jump over a river.
Yeah.
They've got there's rules for depending on their stats and stuff of how far they can jump and
you got to roll dice.
And it's all dependent on the stats that you make for your character, which, So a lot of numbers, a lot of dice rolling.
Yeah.
But then, so when you get past all the maths, it's a really fun game.
Because it does just seem so nerdy, especially like going into it and we're already talking about Dungeon Masters and maths. And it's, I guess I see it as more than that. The thing I love most about Dungeons & Dragons is that it's pretty much like long form improv in a sense that like you create your character.
Yeah.
You can kind of act as this character and talk like this character and create a story with everyone else in their characters. And you can kind of create your own narrative. And I just love it because, I'm a creative. I've already talked that we used to write fantasy stories together and we're super into it. So it's just this real cool, I don't know, it just feels super special being able to make a sometimes completely unique and original story and characters with your friends.
I think for me, one of the biggest things is that I often will have random, and since I was a kid, have random ideas for weird, wacky stories or worlds, and I would want to write about them, and I guess that's what got me into writing, is that I wanted, basically I liked the idea of reading, but I didn't trust any books to be interesting enough to read, so I wanted to write books that I would want to read, is essentially what got me into writing, but as like a hobby. I haven't written any books or anything. I haven't published anything. But the thing I really like about D&D is it's kind of a way of exploring these weird ideas that can just randomly pop up in your head of just like, and sometimes it can just be like it can be based off of something that you've actually, I don't know, like a world that you've already seen in like a book or in a movie or something. And you're like, oh, what if some things were tweaked on it and changed slightly, but you obviously can't write a book about it because it's plagiarism. But you can do it as a D&D game, and a lot of people who are also fans of that story would be, would find it enjoyable and stuff. I don't know. I guess it's a really good creative outlet, I think.
Yeah, because if you have this idea, you can form a character around it, form a backstory around it, I don't know. It's just really, I've never, I guess that's why I like it so much. I've never found anything like it. Sure, there's like improv and like games you can do in that space, but it's just different.
Yeah.
And it's just, I like playing a lot of games as well. I'm a massive board game geek. I mean, we talk about video games every other episode on the podcast. And I don't know, I just feel like it's the superior form of all of them.
Yeah.
I think more people need to give it a try.
Yeah. Yeah. I think the thing I can see scaring a lot of people away from D&D, other than just the fact that there are books upon books of rules and lore, and it can be overwhelming, and the maths and stuff. It's not complicated stuff, really, but it's a lot.
Yeah.
And it can seem boring. Right from the start, because it's a lot because at the start a lot of the time you'll be focusing mainly on that, and all the there's just, if you look at like a character sheet with all your stats, your character strength and charisma and all that sort of stuff, it's just a bunch of numbers.
Yeah.
And so it can be like, and
a bit of work to do before you can actually start playing, I guess.
And sometimes like numbers don't always, I don't know. So I think a lot of the time, like the proficiency bonuses and stuff can be a bit confusing. I think because it's like
how good you are with weapons or tools. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. It can be a bit confusing, a bit daunting, I guess, with all the numbers and everything. But I can also see another thing that can deter, I guess, a lot of people from D&D. I guess would be a lot of the time the fact that when they're starting up, they might not know people who already know anything about D&D, so they start off and then someone's got a DM and they've never played D&D before in their life, and because you got to get a group together, and then I think I can see that scaring a lot of people off.
It's not
DMing is actually
go and play by yourself or go and
and you can do it with just two people, but it's best with at least two players and one DM. Like that's minimum. I'd say. So it's harder to find groups. And then it's also hard to find people that you know at least who know anything about it as well. Unless, of course, you're in, like, the right circles, I guess.
Yeah.
But, like, I don't know. I've often heard of groups of people, like, starting off, and it's just, like, no one's ever played it. And someone's just got a DM. Someone has to do it. So someone eventually volunteers to do it. And, not saying that you can't have any fun in that sort of situation. You definitely can. I'm just saying that I can see without an experienced DM, without someone like the reasons why I enjoy D&D, I could see that being diminished a lot if I was to have been playing with someone like as a character with a DM who isn't very experienced, doesn't know anything,
doesn't know how to weave a story well.
And I think that's another thing is that like I've played under like quite a few DMs, and I've actually seen a lot of different styles. And there are definitely some people I've played under that are like good, but like I don't know that I haven't really enjoyed playing with as the DM compared to a lot of other people and styles and stuff. So I don't know. I guess what I'm trying to say is that if you jump into a game your first time, the DM is new, you're probably not going to find it as fun as like your third or fourth campaign or one shot or whatever with like maybe a different DM, or when the DM is more experienced maybe or something. I don't know. I guess that's my 2 cents on the starting of D&D.
Yeah, no, I totally get it. And you do see it online, like even on like the Dungeons and Dragons Reddit and places like that people are, especially I guess now at the moment overseas when a lot of countries are still in lockdown or just coming out of lockdown, it's people are wanting to play or wanting to get into it, and it's kind of just not feasible unless you play online or.
And then you gotta with like because there's good websites out there, but like specifically for this kind of stuff, like you could do it over Zoom.
Yeah.
Which works, but like we've got is it Roll20, which is like specifically for tabletop RPGs, like but over online. But again, like even an experienced D&D player could find that confusing, jumping on and trying to sort a game through online and stuff.
And there's just nothing, I don't think anything beats just like sitting down with some snacks, some drinks, and just like having a fun night with some friends in person.
I think a lot of D&D games do end up like that, like where you just. I've played a few games where I've DM'd and I have no idea where it's going. I've just sat down and I've just quickly searched up something and done it, like on the fly. And most of the time, the reason why the night's enjoyable, because I don't know what's going on at the beginning, and we're stalling around and we're mucking around doing stuff. So most of the time it just ends up people just having fun, really. Like and a lot of the time it's kind of funny because they don't realize that you haven't done anything prep-wise.
Yeah.
You're just reacting to everything they're doing, and they don't realize until the very end when you tell them that you hadn't done any prep that,
I think I've played a few of those games, so you're right that it's been like, it's so weird because it's such a cool output to like creatively kind of, as I've said before, try and fashion a story and actually try and play this game quite well at the same time. But also, it's a real good way to like practice your comedy chops or like practice jokes and like do random. I don't know. It's so many. It incorporates so many aspects of being a creative or doing things like that. That's just. Sometimes you can do a whole game and it's just been off a silly gag that you've wanted to do in game, and it's just actually snowballed into this big scenario that you've got to try to get yourself out of. I mean, I'm probably need to go and talk about how we got into what games we're playing, but I remember one of your games that I was playing in with a group of friends. For some reason, like it was this real full-on adventure where there was a massive army that was wanting to like take over the world, and there was like portals and monsters coming from a different dimension.
We had a typical D&D.
Typical D&D, but we had a whole session about us wanting to like form a union. Was it? I don't even know why. Form like a union, and we had to like.
I have no idea anything about unions, to be honest. It was like a workers' union.
Yeah.
No, was it a union?
I can't even remember what it was.
All you wanted to do was that you guys were you wanted to get like mining equipment or something, which to like hire them out. I think you wanted to
get mining equipment to like break into a castle or something.
It wasn't even mining equipment. It was like I don't know, like scaling equipment or something. To like scale walls and stuff. You wanted to get into a castle. I think the miners were using it. It was on like a town. The miners hired, like small businesses hired the equipment because it was like a big thing in this town was mining. And businesses often couldn't afford the equipment, so they hired it, I think. That was like kind of how... I just made it up on the night. Because you guys suddenly were looking into it. And
but it was like we had to do that, and then they sent us somewhere else to get some other kind of permit. Then we had to go
well, because you guys weren't a business. You just wanted... you wanted equipment to scale a wall or climb up, but you didn't tell them that. You just wanted climbing equipment.
We had to apply to make a business. We wanted mining equipment.
Yeah.
But then to get that, we needed to be a business. So we went to make a business. But to get that, we needed something else. And we went to... It was just the whole night became this massive...
I think they started trying to get you into a union then or something. And I don't really know much about unions. But I don't know anything. I've heard... This is going to sound really bad for a lot of people probably. But like basically it was like... I think I was using the word union, but I think it was basically some kind of like... It was like your business insurance thing.
Yeah.
I think essentially, but it was kind of a bit of a scam, and they were trying to get they were just trying to get a whole bunch of money from you or something. But you had to kind of do it to be a business recognized in that town or something.
Yeah.
I don't know. I was really trying to get you guys, make it as hard as possible for you guys to get this equipment. And I ended up just making up a whole bunch of random stuff.
But it was literally that whole night was just like one of the funnest nights ever of just this roller coaster ride.
I thought you guys would stop.
It's just our adventuring group just like, going wild goose chase to try and
I was just like
scale it. It probably sounds super boring, but it's just...
It was, like, honestly, for me, I was just like, is this fun for you guys?
But as I'm saying, when you're with friends and when you're like, your creativity is flowing and stuff, it's just the best time.
Yeah.
It's just so good. But I guess how do we get into D&D?
Well, I think you got me into D&D.
Yeah, so I think even before I got into playing D&D, I was a massive fan of the Dragonlance books.
Yes.
Which is a popular fantasy series. And really, really good. I need to reread them. I got both my sisters into them, and they loved them, which is cool. But a fantasy series that I was kind of like obsessed with back in high school. I just loved it. It was my
first. You tried to get me into them as well.
Yeah.
I read like the first one, and then I read another series like way later down the
like one of the spin-offs.
More recent books that was like a separate sort of story that I actually really enjoyed.
Yeah. But they're pretty books. I've revisited some of them, like some of the spin-off series, and yeah, they were good. But Dragonlance was under the Dungeons & Dragons banner. And
Yeah.
I never really knew much about Dungeons and Dragons. I mean, there's always, I guess, going back in history, there was that time during like the 80s and stuff with all the satanic panic that it was like D&D's evil, and I guess that was always looming over it. But I just really loved these books. And then a couple years later, my dad bought me the Dungeons and Dragons starter set with some dice, with an adventure to run with some friends, and just the outlines to, I guess, make some characters and have a good time. And that literally, I didn't touch it for months and months and months.
Yeah.
And then one day I was watching Twitch and Critical Role came up, which is a very popular Dungeons and Dragons Twitch stream where a group of professional voice actors get together and just play Dungeons and Dragons and stream it for everyone. And I loved it. I think that, again, they were just... It was really funny. It was very creative. It had all those fantasy elements that I've loved from growing up with Lord of the Rings and, again, reading these books. And that made me pick up the D&D starter set.
Yeah.
And I started reading through that. And then I invited some friends from school around.
Yeah.
And kind of set up this time, hey, we're going to... Actually, it wasn't... I didn't even invite some friends around. I think it was like one of my birthday parties or something.
Yeah, I think it was.
I was just like, hey, guys, do you want to make some characters for D&D if we play it sometime? I did not know how to play Dungeons and Dragons back then, so I was kind of just like, hey, all we need is some guys to come up with some characters, right? So everyone, like, there was some crazy characters, I think.
That's all you really do need.
Yeah, you're right. I guess you guys wrote down a name, chose a class and a race to play, so your race, you can be like human or an elf or an orc or a goblin or things like that, and your class is, I'm going to be a fighter, or I'm going to be a ranger or a rogue.
I think you made
Yeah, I did. So I think what happened was I got you guys to just write down your names, choose a class, choose a race, write a backstory. And some people's were real good. Some other people's were hilarious. I remember like one of our friends, Alan, I think he listens to the podcast, hey Alan, he was learning German at the time, and he named his character Hofdinge Alra, which I still have no clue what it means. Hopefully I'm not just swearing on our podcast. But it's just the funniest backstory. And then I think from that, your guys' backstory, you like had a fart joke in there, and I only found it recently. Your guy came from the country Fartalia.
It's not a fart joke.
Fartalia.
It just happens to have fart in it. It's not a fart joke.
I know that 15-year-old Hamish was hiding a fart joke in my super serious D&D game.
Yeah, probably.
But I guess from there, I put you guys' characters onto character sheets. I chose your stats. Usually you should roll for them, and it's like all randomized, or you choose points. But I just put them up, and then I was like, hey, guys, come around. We'll play this. And we just got heaps of snacks. There was like 5, 6, maybe even like 7 of us. And we just played the starter adventure.
I think I nearly died by jumping in a river.
You nearly died. Someone was failing jumping in a river.
I think it was me. I kept failing my rolls, and I like ended up falling into a river. And
the people
I just
trying to like
remember it
tame.
being really embarrassing because my guy was like meant to be
Like, the super serious like rogue or something.
Yeah, he's like
a thief. He was like a double agent or like a triple agent or something.
Yeah, I think that was his backstory, wasn't he?
He was like a triple agent.
Yeah, he was like a.
His family died or something.
No, he was like in between. He lived between two warring countries. And
Fartalia and somewhere else. Yeah.
And he was like, if I remember it correctly, and he was like an assassin for one of them.
Yeah.
And then I think the other side found out who he was, and like basically threatened his family if he didn't work for them. And so he worked. So he was doing sort of being a double agent then.
Yeah.
So his family would be safe. And then the other country found out, and then he ended up becoming wanted from both sides, basically, and being
he can't even jump over a little
I think his
piddly
family
lake.
did die.
Yeah.
I think his family ended up dying, and he became wanted from both sides. Real tragic story.
Look at that. But it was the craziest time, and I guess I enjoyed it. It's always still been Dungeon Master to this day. I guess I was running the story, and it was one that was already made, so there's always, I guess the first time played Dungeons & Dragons, it's like, am I doing this right?
Yeah.
I don't think it was a very good game.
Well, I enjoyed it.
But
I think everyone,
here we go.
I hope everyone else did, though.
People had fun, and I guess we had a couple, I think we had 5 or 6 games with those guys.
Yeah, we did, eh? We were
Yeah.
like, that's right. Yeah, we were out of hand with some
Went
of
out
the
of
story.
hand. People started playing like evil characters and like.
It always ends up
I
like
remember Alan, who we've talked about before, his bard fell in love with like a lady at a tavern, and the lady was like, "Hey, I've lost my my brother and my son or some family members." The whole plot hook was that, hey, they were going to find her family members when they went to this castle they needed to go to. And you guys went to this castle, and then someone we were playing with decided to kill these two people, and it was the family, and it was just all my like notes were falling apart, but it was fun. It was
Yeah.
chaos, but it was good.
Your first game will be chaotic, I think.
Yeah, exactly. And I guess that kind of fell apart.
I think it was just, I don't know, actually. I don't know why that campaign stopped.
I can't even remember why I stopped. But yeah, we played
think
like
we-
5 or 6.
I think we were, like, butchering the whole...
We probably weren't even playing Dungeons and Dragons.
No, we were. No, we definitely were, but,
What
no,
did we do
yeah,
after
I
that?
think it was just, I don't know. It might have just been, like, because of the next year of school or whatever.
Yeah.
Might have just gotten a bit too busy. So played for a bit of that. And then, did I start my own campaign after that?
No.
No,
I think after that, me and you were like, hey, we had fun doing this.
It was like a few months after.
Yeah,
that,
it was
must
a
have
while
been.
later, and we're like, hey, we had fun. Why don't we just try do it with some
No,
people that already play it?
yeah, I think it was. You found out that there was a group of people in our town who, well, there was like a gathering each week for
like an
like the
internet cafe.
official,
Yeah.
Wizards of the Coast like campaigns and stuff like that.
Yeah.
We didn't know anything about that, but we were just like,
So Wizards of the Coast are the creators of D&D.
Yeah.
And they, you can have like little games with friends and like family, which we like doing. But
Yeah.
there's also like these official adventures that come out, and you carry your character across all these official adventures and actually do meetups at like official
you carry your
places.
equipment and your XP and levels and stuff all
It's
officially
really
recorded
full on,
and
and it's
stuff.
not much focused on the story. Not so much focused on the story than it is the leveling up.
Yeah.
But we created some characters.
Yeah.
We went along to that.
Didn't really enjoy it that much.
Nah.
Well, I think I enjoyed that we were doing D&D, but I realized that it was like, I don't know. I think we were thinking about going again, but I was just like, this isn't as
Yeah.
fun.
We're probably having more fun with our group of friends just messing around, not even playing D&D.
Yeah.
But
And then I think that's when you just found someone randomly
yeah,
on Facebook, on a D&D Facebook page, who was
Yep.
just saying, hey, we're starting a group.
in
Anyone
Fungadame.
keen?
Yeah.
And then you just tagged me in it, and then we both just said, yeah, we'll be keen, and then went along to that, and that was our first like proper campaign.
Yeah, and it was like,
And-
I think we met everyone over like a potluck dinner.
I say proper campaign. It was a homebrew, but like it was like first like, okay, everyone's like,
Everyone's into this,
we're gonna
everyone's wanting to
we're
play.
gonna have fun,
Yeah.
but we're not going to just like monkey around and like we're gonna try and like
Make a good
make
adventure.
make characters and actually like role play and like get into it like properly.
Yeah.
And it was like, I still think that was like the best campaign.
Oh,
I've
it's
played.
my favourite one we've done as well. We like meet up with a whole group of people, some of which are like still close friends of ours.
Yeah.
But we meet up over at dinner the first night, I think, and just sat down and make characters and like tried to, I guess, make our characters work together in some ways. And
And we had to like make, that was like, it was really in depth actually. 'Cause
Yeah.
we were making characters so all of our characters had met each other beforehand, and we had to like work out where, like, I think it was just that there was a link, each character had a link to another
to
character.
someone else, and we had to like write a story about who these characters are, do some creative writing, and then work in how we know these other people.
Yeah, and then it had to like work into the world. That
Yeah.
had like a big description
It's
of
pretty-
it and everything, and it was like, I don't know. This sounds really nerdy, but
Yeah.
like which isn't a bad thing.
Nah.
But like for us, that's just like, this is
Yeah,
what we've
I
been
can't
wanting.
wait to write a backstory and
Yeah.
actually people who want to like work together to make these characters. But we did that for quite a while, and people came in and out of that game. I think people had to move, things came up, people came in and out, new people joined,
Yeah,
and
we played that game for like 2 years.
yeah, 2 years, and there was
I was just guessing.
yeah, it would have been definitely over a year. But it was pretty cool because we had a start and there was like a definite kind of wrap-up point and a finish point to the story. We defeated the big bad. We had some cool character moments. And then that one ended. But I loved that game.
Yeah.
I don't know. Kudos to our like DM for that one.
Yeah.
He just put so much effort in and always brought props along, and it was just really, it was really cool.
Yeah.
It was really cool. And then from there, from a couple of people who we played with, or probably while we were playing that game, you probably started up one, right?
Yeah, we did. I did do a few, at least, I think I did like 2 campaigns.
Yeah.
Myself. I started up trying to DM, and I think that kind of, my first campaign was just like, I was just trying it out. It was a throwaway campaign, if you will.
And it was just a couple of us.
I was just going crazy with it.
It was just a couple of us. It was like myself and a couple of the other guys, which we did our first game with.
Real big, not like real big, but like as an amount of players. Yeah. Like, I ended up. I remember at one point having like, I don't know. I feel like we had like over 5 players at one point, which is big for a first-time DM.
Yeah, they feel like, I guess thinking back, they feel like separate things, but we changed characters a little bit. We had new people come and join, and
yeah. But I remember at least 1 or 2 games having like a lot of people, and then I think I changed campaigns at one point. We sort of refined, like people came and left, and tried it out for a bit.
I wanted to change my character because my guy was a bit of a douche.
So we ended up like making a new campaign set in the same world, but a little bit more refined, and just sort of had a set group almost.
Yeah.
Played that for a bit, and then ended up stopping, I think, just because just lack of interest. I think eventually people just started
getting busier with life.
Yeah.
And then that's about the time that our campaign we really loved wrapped up, that we did over, we met through Facebook. And then from that, a couple of those guys, we just decided to keep going. And
in the same world as the main.
In the same world, which was pretty cool. We're like, hey, new Dungeon Master, but we're going to try to keep the same world, same characters. And we started catching up weekly.
We didn't keep the same characters.
Oh, no. I guess the same characters existed in the world, but we're playing new characters.
The reason why we kept the same world is because our DM made an entire map, like detailed map.
Yeah. So many places.
Basically, we just asked us, like, hey, could we just use the map and and the lore and stuff, and just put it, like, have the campaign, like, way over here on the map?
Yeah.
Like, it was a whole world map.
That was pretty cool.
In fact, actually, was it even a world map?
I think it was just like a realm, or like a
partial
continent.
World.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, it was a big map though.
That's huge. But that was pretty cool. So we did that. I think we did it weekly, but some of those games that was so fun. And it was just people that were really into it. We played like sometimes till like 1, 2 in the morning.
I think we played later than that.
Probably. And I can't imagine doing that now, but
I'd die, I think.
I know. It was just fun times. And one of the people we were playing with was the brother of your wife.
Oh, yeah.
So, if we just trace back this whole story,
I was wondering where you're going with that. I was just like, brother of what? I don't know. Oh, okay, yeah.
And you kind of met your wife through us playing D&D with your brother. So, if we track back the story, everything we're talking about, guys.
He's tried to do this before.
At the start, right? You remember me getting Hamish into D&D?
Yeah.
Is this just like a domino effect? Are you married to the love of your life now because of me? Did I kind of like set you guys up?
Why are you trying to get the answer?
It all leads back to me.
I guess if you really try and look back, then yes. I guess if you really think about it, it does make sense. Is that what you were wanting?
Thank you. Yeah. There we go. I'm a matchmaker over here, guys. But I mean, that one that we played, went on for years and years and years. We're still kind of playing that same game.
Yeah.
And it's been like 4 or 5 years, and it's been real fun.
We've changed, like, a lot. Like, it's not just the same. I don't know. Like, we've done a few, like, essentially like campaigns in it.
Yeah.
Like small campaigns that are all sort of linked. And we've swapped around characters a lot. Done heaps of one shots and things. One shots are essentially just mini campaigns.
A one-off game. You create a character and just do a night with that character.
And since then as well, we've done like heaps of other like other games,
little games that kind of haven't continued for ages. I mean, we're doing one. I'm doing one with you at the moment. Me and my wife, and you and your wife.
Yeah,
we're just playing. We've only played a couple games, but that's just one we do occasionally, and it's real fun.
That's not a homebrew though. That's just a modular campaign, but it's It is really fun.
And I'm doing a module at the moment over Discord online. We're using Roll20, and there's online tools we talked about. Myself, Hamish, Philip, and Isaiah. A couple of our friends we're playing that weekly every couple of weeks and running through a module. It's like an ice-based adventure. And it's a lot. It's still like, we're completely off track from what the adventure is supposed to be.
It always does.
But it's just fun. It's just, you get into the most fun, absurd scenarios and just have so many laughs together, and that's really cool to do. Especially because one of the people we play with is like South Island, super far away from us. It's just cool to catch up like that.
Yeah.
I mean, I've done games with my family after doing this. You've run a couple of games with your family?
I do one with my family when because some of my family live out of town, and when they come up, I'll do a game with them. Whenever they come up.
We've even done some games both our families together. Me and my brothers and sisters, and you and your sister. We've done like a sci-fi. It's not even D&D, but
it's like a D&D. It's like an unofficial, well, kind of. I don't know. It's like a random
let's make D&D sci-fi.
Sci-fi sort of, I don't know, reframing of D&D kind of, that I just found a book for it, and it's just like someone had just thrown it together, and it kind of works. So I was like, oh, sweet, I'll use that and do a sci-fi campaign, and I was just thinking about it on the way over, actually.
We haven't played that in a while.
I was like, oh man, I haven't organized a game for that in a while.
Let's do it.
Yeah.
But I guess all in all, we're still doing it. We're probably like 5 or 6 years after we started.
Yeah, and I still haven't so many different campaigns that I've thought about doing that I've been like, oh, I'll do it later.
It's just such a great creative outlet.
Yeah, when I have time to do another campaign or one of the other campaigns ends, and it's
definitely something I want to keep up.
To me, it just feels like it's never ending. It's like there's so many other things I want. It's kind of sad when a campaign ends, but at the same time, it's like, or when a character dies or something. Yeah. At the same time, I'm like, oh man, I've got so many other things I want to
create a new story,
ideas and stuff now. I can use. It's just
it's really really cool. Yeah, and I mean, we're going to be playing this probably till we're in the rest home, right?
No, probably.
But yeah, I guess that's Dungeons and Dragons. I would super recommend anyone giving it a try, but especially creatives or people that, like us, have thought about writing a story before, or I guess, I don't know, just doing something creative, or just people that are really into games. Or
I feel like that's what a lot of the people playing are. They enjoy, us, they enjoy the creative aspect, but there are also a lot of people who play because they just really enjoy the actual mechanics side of it. And I think there's a bit of a negative sort of in the D&D community for people who are just I don't know what you would call it, but basically people who want to play the game because they enjoy the sort of the mechanical and math side of it, and they want to
maximize how good the character is.
They want to try and make the best character,
have the best abilities.
Yeah. I think there's a bit of a negative.
It's a valid way to play, though, right?
Yeah, as long as you're playing with people who either don't mind playing with someone like that, or people who enjoy that as well.
Exactly. And I know friends, or I've played with people that just really love the battles and strategically thinking of how we're going to take down this boss, or how we're going to get out of this situation.
As a player, I enjoy a balance of that, but I don't normally enjoy as much playing with a DM who's like that.
Yeah.
Because then it's I don't know. I prefer playing with a more creative, a DM who's more focused on the story and create world building and stuff.
Because you get so many crazy twists and cliffhangers, and it's just
but then
it's starring in your own TV show almost.
Yeah, I guess you sort of learn your preferences as you.
And there's something for everyone.
Yeah,
I think there absolutely is something for everyone to find in Dungeons and Dragons that they like. Whether it just be the part that you're actually hanging out with friends while playing it, whether it's, as I said, creating a story or creating characters, whether it's just playing a game. Or, I don't know, there definitely is something for everyone.
Even if it's just an excuse to sit around a table and eat snacks.
Exactly, yeah.
Yelling at each other in really bad accents.
Exactly. And I mean, my wife isn't the biggest Dungeons & Dragons fan. I kind of need to coax her into it if we play it. But she still had fun times, just I don't know, what did we do last time? We went to buy things. and I think she was trying to haggle out free pastries out of someone or something.
And then that turned into like a whole deception thing where she ended up pretending to be like a
food critic.
Was it a food critic or like a
secret shopper?
I think it was like a food like inspector or something.
A health inspector inspecting the pastries. Yeah, so I mean,
or it was a critic. I can't remember, but it was like something that she convinced them that she managed to convince them that she was, and then they ended up giving her like free food because of it. I don't know. It might sound boring, but it's like I don't know. It's just fun how crazy things will go.
And how people, even my wife, can find something to like about it, guys. So, I'd super recommend you guys checking it out, seeing if, I don't know, you have friends that are interested in it, or just reading up about it, seeing if there's a group near you. Because, I mean, probably our favourite adventure or campaign we've ever done was just finding a group near us with people that wanted to play. So, yeah.
This is our rambling film episode.
Yeah. Buying time for big cats.
There'll probably be a part 2 and 3 of D&D.
Yeah, we need to talk about some of the like actual adventures and campaigns we've done, or some of the characters, because
I've been wanting to talk about like other mechanics that can be sort of like, for instance, how we sort of reskinned D&D to fit for sci-fi and stuff like that.
We should talk about that game, because it's been super fun.
Yeah, but like just that kind of like other possibilities and things that could be done if they're not done already.
Yeah,
you know, that could sort of, I don't know. I'd love to talk about that, because it's like, because D&D's fun, but typically it's just set in this one kind of world.
Swords and sorcery, magic and monsters. Kind of think like Lord of the Rings.
And if you're playing the official campaigns, that's all set in the same like universe, I guess.
Yeah, the Sword Coast or the Forgotten Realms, I think it is. Yeah.
But yeah, so it's like it can be fun to start talking about like other ways you can reskin it and make it like fit into different settings and stuff.
And I'd love to talk. Yeah, I'd love to talk about that. That'd be real cool, just to talk about the game and what you can do with it. And also, I'd love to bring up, I guess, some of our characters, or as I said, some of our adventures we've done. So let us know if you want to hear about it. And
maybe talk about something that's like that we've played that's a bit more interesting than just like shopping or trying to start a business.
Yeah, we're really great. D&D is just like real life, guys. Yeah, probably not great examples, but we'll talk about some cool stuff. But yeah, reach out to us. Let us know what you want to hear. We're thinking. I mean, I'm really liking doing this. We're kind of doing something about film, something about a hobby, something about a mystery, or something we're intrigued by.
Yeah.
And I think we're just going to, at the moment, rinse and repeat that. Just keep it kind of variety showish.
Yeah. But well, it's kind of how we plan to start it. We're just the whole point of the podcast is just a way for us to just ramble on about things that we find interesting or want to talk about. And it's always, most of the time, going to be geeky things like this.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah, as I said, let us know anything you want us to talk about. And we really appreciate you guys. I'd just like to thank you guys for rating and reviewing us on Apple Podcasts. That's real cool. We're going up. I think we're like top of the charts or in the United Kingdom at the moment, which is really awesome to see. Not something we expected.
Yeah. Well, because we were... what is it? It's under hobbies and stuff. Eh?
Yeah, we're under hobbies. I don't know if we should be like TV and film or...
I don't know. I think hobbies.
Hobbies is.
I feel like hobbies is where we're.
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, I remember a few weeks ago we were fairly high on New Zealand charts for hobbies specifically, and just thinking, I was like, it's probably like 2 or 3 other podcasts or something. That's probably why.
But we've dropped out of New Zealand recently and we're up in UK.
Yeah, and then suddenly realised like, whoa, there's actually a lot of other
we were doing well. Yeah, we're going to try, I think the next couple episodes will come out weekly, so look forward to those. We're going to try record a few in advance and just have them ready to go. And yeah, what else can they, as always, email us, collectaniaofeverything@gmail.com, or join our Discord. We've been getting some cool discussions in there recently. You can find that link in the show notes and ask us anything there as well. But we'll see you guys next time. Okay, you ready for this?
Have to do the voice.
No, you ready for this?
Okay.
You ready for this? And that was episode 11 of the Collectania of Everything.
You doing your voice?
That wasn't. What? Was that the voice?
I'm joking.